Hello and welcome to this week's YouTube video. Most people think of neutrals, greys, browns, blacks as flat, colourless areas, but look closely and you'll see that none of them are truly neutral. Every grey or brown leans towards a hue on the colour wheel, and these subtle shifts in temperature are what bring a painting to life. If you rely solely on tube black, tube brown or simple black and white greys, your work will quickly look flat and lifeless because all those natural colour cues are missing. Once you start seeing the colour hidden inside your neutrals, everything changes. So in this video, we're going to look at how to identify these colour shifts and how to mix beautiful neutrals from pure colour. I am going to use this German Shepherd painting to illustrate my points. Let's get started. Number 1, neutrals aren't truly neutral. Look closely at those greys, browns, blacks, and you will see they lean towards a certain hue. For example, a brown can be any of these hues found on the colour wheel. Why is it important? Temperature will affect our neutrals, just as it affects the colours on the colour wheel. Our greys, blacks and browns can be either warm or cool. It is very tempting to ignore this and use your black and brown from a tube and mix your greys from white and black. The result, a flat, lifeless painting. Seeing colour in your neutrals and accurately showing this is key to unlocking more realistic paintings. This German Shepherd is pretty much painted in neutrals without black or brown on my palette. So let's have a look at how I've done this. Number 2, understanding and identifying low chroma colour. Even though the colours in this painting of black, brown and grey are low chroma neutrals, they still carry colour. All neutrals will carry traces of red, yellow or blue, and so the trick is identifying what you actually see. How do you do this? Firstly, identify the type of light you are dealing with. Are you dealing with warm light or cool light? As your shadows will behave differently. Cool light will give you warm shadows, and warm light will give you cool shadows. Remember, a red object is still a red object even though it may be in cool light, but the red you select to paint this object will be different to the red you would use if it were in warm light. After you have identified the light, you can use either a grey or white card to help you identify the colours in your neutrals. If you are dealing with a mid-tone, hold a grey card up to your reference photo and ask yourself, do I see red, yellow or blue? For example, if you see red, it can only be red, red-orange or red-purple. If you see yellow, it can only be yellow, yellow-orange or yellow-green, etc. If you are dealing with a light neutral, then use a white card. If you are dealing with a dark neutral, use a black card. Always ask yourself which primary colour you can see. It takes a while to train your eye, but stick with it and eventually you will see the colours. As mentioned before, I have only used colour to mix my browns, greys and blacks in this painting. My dog is sat in cool light, so I will have warm shadows. This cool light also means I don't have to worry too much about the addition of white in my midtones or light values, but I do need to make sure I use warm colours in my shadows, like yellows, oranges or reds. No white. Number 3, temperature shifts within neutrals. Even with the most neutral mixtures, temperature shifts from warm to cool will still be present. But these will be micro shifts, so use your cards to help you see them. Red is our warmest colour on the colour wheel, blue is our coolest. As colours move away from red towards blue in both directions, they become cooler. Everything is relative to what is next to it, so yellow is a warm colour, but not as warm as orange or red. You can reflect this in your palette by choosing a warm and cool of every colour. So our warm red would be cadmium red, our cool red would be alizarin crimson. Our warm yellow would be yellow ochre light, our cool yellow would be cadmium yellow light. Our warm blue would be ultramarine deep, our cool blue cerulean blue. This palette will help us with correctly mixing the temperatures that we see. The simplest way to deal with temperature is to work with complementary colours. Complementary colours are colour opposites, so red and green, blue and orange, and purple and yellow. For example, I see purple in my greys. I therefore pair it with a yellow and use both these colours in a sort of broken colour effect in this area, and I have placed purple next to yellow. I have done this for all my neutrals. Number 4, mixing chromatic colours. If I show you my palette, I am using cadmium yellow light, yellow ochre light, transparent yellow oxide, cadmium red, alizarin crimson, transparent red oxide, ultramarine deep and titanium zinc white. Brown. The easiest way to make brown from colour is to mix your complementary colours together. So red plus green equals brown. Yellow plus purple equals brown. Blue plus orange equals brown. Furthermore, you will get a different hue of brown if you mix different reds or different greens. So cadmium red plus viridian will give me a different brown to alizarin crimson plus sap green. Plus, I can also mix my greens from the yellows and blues on my palette, and this will give me even more variety of browns. It is the same for every complementary colour pairing. Working with complementary colours will make it easier to get your temperatures correct in your browns. If you are making your browns from red and green, when your brown looks cooler, you just add more green. When it looks warmer, you just add more red. It's that simple. For my brown areas, I have used this orange and my blue for my complementary pairings. Where I have wanted to push the brown darker but warmer, I have used this black-red. Where I have wanted to push it darker but cooler, I have used either my blue or this blue-green. Where I have wanted to push it lighter but warmer, I have used my yellow ochre light. Where I have wanted to push it lighter but cooler, I have used my white. Grey. The simplest way to make grey is to mix your complementary pairings together and add white. So, for example, yellow plus purple plus white. As before, each complementary pairing will give you a different grey colour hue, and the use of a warm colour and a cool colour will make it easier to shift your greys between warm and cool. In this painting, I have used this purple plus my cadmium yellow plus white. I have laid it in a sort of broken colour effect so you can see both the yellow and the purple, but the overall temperature is cooler. Down here I have pushed my colour more yellow to orange, which is warmer. The overall effect is cool to warm. Blacks. Finding colour in your blacks is just as important as finding colour in your greys and browns. I mix my black from complementaries of red and green. There are other combinations you can mix too, like ultramarine deep and burnt umber. This is basically orange and brown. In the really dark areas, I push my black warm, so I use more red. Remember that our light is cool, so my shadows are warm. As I move into the lighter areas, I can just add a little white to this mix, and it gives me this lovely cool grey. This gives me my warm, cool transition. Number 5, using neutrals to enhance vibrant colours through contrast. Vibrant colours look their best when they're surrounded by thoughtfully placed neutrals. This is because high chroma hues need something quieter beside them to truly stand out. Notice how vibrant my brown looks in comparison to my black and grey. It really pops. Neutrals act like a stage that lets your vibrant colours perform. They also prevent your painting from becoming overwhelming or chaotic. If everything is bright, nothing reads as bright. So don't oversaturate your colours. Pick your strongest hues carefully and surround them with neutrals that shift both warm and cool. Seeing colour in your neutrals is one of the biggest shifts you can make in your painting practice. Once you stop relying on tube blacks and browns and start mixing your own low chroma colours, you gain complete control over temperature, depth and realism. Your greys and shadows become far richer and your focal points stand out more naturally. By paying attention to the subtle warm and cool shifts within these muted areas, you can create paintings that feel alive, cohesive and visually convincing. So keep training your eye, keep comparing your neutrals to your cards, and keep pushing your mixtures towards the hues you actually see. With practice, the boring parts of your painting will become the most beautiful. I hope you have enjoyed today's video and found it useful. Please like and subscribe if you can, and check out my website sarahhallidayart.com, where you will find examples of my work and also details of online classes that I run. Thank you for watching, and see you for the next one.